Launch Delta 45 Weather Squadron. The probability of violating launch constraints is 20%. Ground winds are 10 knots out of the east-southeast, and the temperature is 84 degrees Fahrenheit. The primary concern for launch today is the cumulus cloud rule. The range is green for weather, and we are go for launch. Following liftoff, ULA's Vulcan rocket will be flying an easterly heading from Space Launch Complex 41. Here's a look at today's flight.
Following final confirmation of rocket readiness, twin BE-4 engines and 4 GEM 63XL solid rocket boosters produced nearly 3 million pounds of thrust to lift ULA's Vulcan rocket away from Cape Canaveral's Space Launch Complex 41. Shortly after liftoff, the rocket begins a pitchover to attain the proper flight path while minimizing the dynamic pressure it experiences during flight. Vulcan then reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound. With the ability to add 2, 4, or 6 solid rocket boosters, or SRBs, Vulcan can be precisely configured to take any mission to space, from low Earth orbit to Pluto and beyond. These boosters augment the rocket's total thrust at liftoff, adding approximately 460,000 pounds of thrust per SRB. With their propellant expired approximately 90 seconds into ascent, the SRBs burn out, followed by jettison. Jettison time is variable, occurring between 100 and 150 seconds after liftoff, depending on mission requirements. Vulcan's guidance system then activates to steer towards the precise target in space. First stage flight continues as the rocket crosses the Kármán line, entering space. With the majority of propellant expended as Vulcan fights against the force of gravity, the BE-4 engines shut down, and the booster stage separates. With the rocket now weighing less than 10% of what it did at liftoff, dual RL-10C engines on ULA's Centaur upper stage ignite. Spacecraft are encapsulated inside a 5.4-meter diameter payload fairing, which provides a protective environment during ascent. Following Centaur engine ignition, the payload fairing is jettisoned, and the mission continues to its final destination.
Once we lift off, viewers watching the launch from Florida and points east may be able to see Vulcan in flight. To get a closer look at this visibility map, check out @ULA_launch on social media.
Roger.
$159.
Vehicle internal.
$155.
Launch sequencer start.
$140.
Launch enable.
$135.
FTS armed.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch vehicle, ground systems, payload, and eastern range are go for launch. For those of you just tuning in, I'm Chris Veltri, joining you for today's live coverage of USSF 106 atop ULA's Vulcan rocket. At this time, the team is not working any issues, and we're proceeding towards liftoff at 8:56 p.m. Eastern Time. T-minus 1 minute.
Rock report range status.
Range green. $45.
Vulcan tanks at step 3.
$34. 30. BE-4 start box go. 28.
Verify ECS, reduce for launch.
Verified. 20.
Status check. Go Vulcan. Go Centaur. Go SF 106.
15. 10.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We have ignition. 1. And Liftoff of United Launch Alliance Vulcan rocket carrying USSF 106 for the United States Space Force, continuing ULA's soaring legacy in national security space launch with the innovative Vulcan rocket.
Thrust, half mile in altitude. Completed our pitch and yaw program. Body rates turned to 0. P's gone to closed loop control. And we've completed our roll program. 3 miles in altitude, half mile downrange. And Mach 1, Vulcan is supersonic. Vehicle's traveling at 1,500 miles per hour, right down the center of the range track. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. Engine parameters continue to look good. Hydraulics good. Five miles downrange.
You are hearing Daniel Brunson providing launch vehicle ascent data.
Good indication of SRB burnout, preparing for SRB jettison. B4s continue to burn nominally. Good indication of SRB separation. B4 is entering its first throttle bucket. And guidance enabled. We've been able to close loop steering. At this point in
We
flight,
just heard
Vulcan's now half
confirmation of solid rocket booster jettison. These 4 motors augmented the thrust of the main vehicle engines at liftoff, giving the Vulcan rocket an extra boost on its journey to geosynchronous orbit.
27 miles downrange, continues right down the center of the range track, traveling at 3,200 miles per hour. Engine continues to burn nominally, body rate's looking good. And we've got activation of the RCS pyro valves on the upper stage. .34 miles in altitude, approaching 4,000 miles per hour. Body rates continue to look as expected. Passing through 45 miles in altitude, 107 miles downrange. Passing 80 miles downrange, Vulcan continues right down the center of the range track. Engine parameters continue to look healthy. Passing through 45 miles in altitude, 107 miles downrange. We're now a quarter of our original liftoff weight, 169 miles downrange, 56 miles in altitude. Engine parameters continue to look healthy. Good activation of the upper stage PU motors. Vehicle's traveling 8,400 miles per hour. We're now a quarter of our original.
This is Vulcan Mission Control at T plus 4 minutes and 30 seconds. We're about 30 seconds away from our next mission events, booster engine cutoff and booster separation, followed by start of the main engine and jettison of payload fairing. Let's return to Daniel Brunson.
Motors. And we've completed boost phase chill down. Vehicle's traveling 8,400 miles per hour.
This is Vulcan Mission Control at T plus 4 minutes and 30 seconds. We're about 30
And
seconds away from
shutdown.
our next mission events, booster engine cutoff and booster separation, followed by start of the main
Good
engine
indication
and
center
jettison of
separation.
payload fairing. Let's return to Daniel Brunson.
We've got pre-start on H2 and O2. And we've completed boost phase chill. And good start on the upper stage engines. 2 good at all temps. Good indication of PLF jettison.
Prop on LC.
Centaur PU set to
And
open
good
loop control.
indication shutdown.
Body rate's looking good.
Good indication of Centaur separation. We got pre-start on H2 and O2.
This is Vulcan Mission Control at T plus 5
And
minutes
good
and
start on the
45
upstage
seconds.
engines.
We just heard flight
good
commentator
attempts.
Daniel Brunson confirm the successful completion of the early milestones in today's
Good
flight,
indication of fuel
and all
efficiency.
systems continue to operate nominally.
Centaur PU
As
set
the
to
mission
open loop
continues,
control.
let's take a look at the important
Body
work
rate's
done
good.
by the Space Force's Space Systems Command. This is Vulcan Mission Control at T plus 5 minutes and 45 seconds. We just heard flight commentator Daniel Brunson confirm the successful completion of the early milestones in today's flight, and all systems continue to operate nominally. As the mission continues, let's take a look at the important work done by the Space Force's Space Systems Command.
All right, Andrew Kraft back here on Live Now. Successful launch there for the ULA Vulcan rocket in conjunction with the U.S. Space Force Command. So we're at the top of a new hour. Wanted to make sure we brought you that live event there from Cape Canaveral tonight. So exciting news. Always fun to watch these launches there, as my colleague Andy Mack says, smoke and fire. But in the meantime, we have to get to more of these top headlines, including some of these international ones. First, we do have some Middle East news to bring you. We have a live picture there over the skies of Jerusalem at the moment. This is related here. Take a look at this. This is live in Jakarta, Indonesia. So what's going on right now? They are preparing there for a departure as Indonesia plans to dispatch 80 tons of aid and relief goods to Gaza. So the Indonesians jumping on board, providing relief, humanitarian aid to the Palestinian people in Gaza. So we don't get some of these live vantage points out of Indonesia very often, but this is what you're watching right there. Looks like the Indonesian military readying this departure as they will dispatch 80 tons of aid and relief to Gaza. That's on the tarmac in Jakarta. So had to get that in. We'll monitor that shot as well. It's not in English, but we'll keep our eye on it. In the meantime, though, as you know, we're getting more details on the big event, the main event on Friday. There, the summit in Alaska between President Trump and Vladimir Putin, the Russian leader. We now have a place in Alaska where it's going to take place. It's been reported, according to the White House. It is happening in Anchorage. So let's talk about what to expect with some of our friends and colleagues there at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, including analyst